Hey everyone, I'm Jaymes Longstrom. I'm one of the coaches with Team Biolayne. And a question I'm frequently getting from potential clients or even some of the followers on the Team Biolayne account is, should I start a fat loss phase or continue with my current dieting phase? Or should I stop and transition into a maintenance or a reverse diet phase and focus on muscle building? There are many different ways to approach answering this question, and I can't give you a direct answer, unfortunately, but I can give you some factors to consider next time you're faced with this dilemma. Now, there's generally a couple of instances where people are faced with this question of, should I continue dieting or start dieting, or should I spend the time reverse dieting? The most common instance is when people are currently in a fat loss phase, or they're currently been dieting for an extended period of time, and they're finding further fat loss and progress to be difficult, and their calories are having to get extremely low in order to see progress. So you have to ask yourself a couple of questions. Can I drop calories any further to see progress and more fat loss? Or can I sustain the current level and continue to see the amount of progress I'm currently seeing? If you can't continue to sustain those low calories, or if you're having to get your calories lower, which is going to make compliance more difficult, then the answer should be pretty clear. You would want to bring your calories up to your current or your estimated maintenance level and focus on reverse dieting and building up that calorie maintenance range as much as possible while focusing on building muscle. Now, the problem with that is a lot of people are more apt to dieting and trying to lose fat because the progress is a lot faster. You can see changes on the scale and visually week to week. But when you talk about committing to a long-term muscle building phase, the changes in the progress is a lot slower. Generally, you're not going to be seeing changes or progress for weeks or even months. I'm a big proponent on advocating for spending a dedicated long period of time in a maintenance or a slight calorie surplus and focusing on muscle growth, because that will lead to the most positive long-term changes in your body composition. Now, another instance could be maybe you're coming towards the end of your fat loss phase, or you're getting near that goal body weight that you want to be at. But maybe you feel like you could still lose some body fat, or visually you're just not as happy as you thought you would be. So you have a couple of options here. You could continue losing body weight and being patient with that stubborn body fat, or again, you could transition into a maintenance phase and reverse diet and focus on muscle building. Oftentimes people think that in order for them to be satisfied and content with their body composition, they have to lose fat. But a lot of times people just need to focus on building a little bit more muscle, and then they would see the body composition that they're happy with. So if you're somebody who is, number one, finding it difficult to continue to see progress or fat loss, or number two, you're finding that you've hit your goal body weight, but the changes that you thought you would be seeing aren't there, that's when I would generally recommend going into a maintenance phase and focusing on long-term muscle growth while trying to build that calorie maintenance range as much as possible. Again, I know people don't want to hear that they need to commit long-term to not dieting and focusing on building muscle, because they want to see the body composition and they want to see that physique that they want. But the reality is that they need to dedicate a good period of time to focusing on muscle building and building that calorie maintenance range. We have a number of other posts and informative videos on our Team Biolayne page, so I definitely recommend you checking that out if you don't know how to find your calorie maintenance range, or if you're wondering about reverse dieting in general and how to approach that. But again, I'm somebody who will definitely advocate on and on about taking a dedicated period of time to going to a maintenance calorie level and then trying to raise that calorie level over time while just focusing on your training in the gym. Now, how long does that mean? Well, it can vary quite a bit from individual to individual, as with anything training and nutrition related. But I would say a minimum of 6 months, and if not, maybe a year or a couple of years for most people to really put on a substantial amount of muscle. And then when they go to approach a fat loss phase, they're going to have more success and they're going to be happier with their physique and body composition changes when they go to that fat loss phase. So I hope this helps you in answering this dilemma if you are faced with it in the future. And if you have any questions or any comments, please drop them below and I will definitely be happy to answer those. You can also shoot me a DM. You can find me on Instagram at Jaymes Longstrom. I am going to be taking on clients in the very near future. So if you have any questions or you're interested in coaching, shoot me an email to James with a Y, at biolayne.com, and I'd love to hear from you. Thank you, guys.